There are an immeasurable amount of Miku figures out there, and they can often be hit or miss for some people. This Miku by Stronger, however, whose name is a bit of a tongue twister, so I'll just call her Flower Miku, has become the most ordered figure on the entirety of MFC. So clearly, this figure has struck a chord with people. And really, can you possibly blame us? Let's take a closer look at why we're so enamored with her. This is a good box. I prefer the cleaner, minimalist boxes out there, and this one is a little messy, but at the same time there are still a lot of really classy touches. The packaging itself is standard, taking Miku's parasol, flowers, and long flowing hair into consideration. The box isn't quite as large as I thought it would be. And I always appreciate it when manufacturers put in the effort of putting in some sort of design inside the box that you can use as a backdrop. Here we have the same illustration that's used on the base. And speaking of the base, let's talk about that right away. It could not be more classy. When I first opened the figure, I was surprised and impressed to see, not your typical hollow plastic base, but rather a lovely acrylic base. It's the perfect, non-intrusive size, and the illustration is just elegant. Some bases feel cheap, but this could not feel any more premium. And I'm sure I don't really need to point this out to you, because you can plainly see this is quite the colourful figure. However, it doesn't feel like the colours have just been, splashed around at random. Instead, it feels like every colour is meticulous and deliberate as to contrast with each other, and as a result, the figure really pops. For example, just look at Miku's blue hair and her red kimono. I've stated before in other reviews that I prefer my Miku hair to be a bit more on the green side, but this colour couldn't be more perfect when you take the kimono into consideration. And of course, it wouldn't be a Miku figure without hair that becomes translucent. It's not just the twin tails I adore though, I love her fringe. It's not a style of fringe that we see on a lot, if any, Miku figures, but when you combine it with the flowers sitting atop her head, it's just gorgeous. Now, kimono or yukata figures aren't particularly uncommon. I mean, just look at Freeing or even Stronger themselves with their Madoka line. But the pattern on this kimono is just breathtaking. It's really in another league. Miku's facial expression is gentle and feminine, if a little safe and conservative. I think that comes down to the mouth, because her eyes are quite expressive, but at the same time, I'd still rather this kind of mouth than having her mouth, just wide and agape and possibly ruining the whole figure. And the flowers on the base, well, that's just the icing on the cake, really. If I had any complaint, it would be that the parasol isn't that stable. Miku doesn't really hold on to it as much as it just kind of rests on her arms and shoulders. However, similar to Altair's Edna, who I last reviewed, thankfully the parasol itself doesn't need any constructing. If you ask me, there are two key components to a great figure: an excellent design and well-executed craftsmanship. This has both in spades, and as a result you get a figure that you could just stare at all day. No aspect has been half-hearted here. Even if you're not the biggest Miku fan out there, this figure would bring a touch of class, colour, beauty, and sophistication to any collection. As a result, it's pretty hard not to recommend. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and happy collecting. Bye-bye.